Daniel, are you good?
I am so good.
How are you doing mentally?
I'm pretty good.
How are you doing physically? How are you doing emotionally, spiritually, metaphysically? We need to make sure it's all aligned.
Yep, I'm just great, Adam.
Okay.
How are your friends doing?
Hello, and welcome to the 26th episode of the Dlsone podcast. I'm your host for this episode, Daniel Goodman, or DG Cubes.
I'm Adam, or the Rubik's Cubed.
I'm Allison Lee, or the Programming Cuber.
And so those are our only hosts for today. Unfortunately, Derpy and Ava couldn't make it, but we do have a guest today, and that is Dana Yee.
Hello, that's me.
Awesome, thanks for joining us. This is going to be fun. But yeah, so with that out of the way, I guess we can just get right into the Q&A. So our first question comes from all caps, Nice Rublix, for Dana.
Okay.
For Dana, when did you start cubing?
I think I started cubing in around 2008 or 2009. I was like...
Oh, she's an oldie.
Yeah, I am pretty old. I was like 9 or 10 years old. So then I didn't actually go to my first comp until 2010, though. But yeah, I've been around for a while.
Yeah, if I had been cubing, then I would have been really, really young.
All right, that was a quick question. Who wants to take the next one?
I got it.
All right.
Joey Cubes, for all, do you want the WCA to bring back old events like Rainbow Cube or Siamese Cube? Definitely an interesting thing. Rainbow Cube, I don't know if that really counts. That was sort of, from what I understand, like a spur-of-the-moment thing. Like, they just decided to do it at one competition. So, like, does that really count as, like... I guess because, like, there were official results, but, like, I wouldn't say it would be bringing it back. I'd say it was more be, like, an introduction if, like, they decided just to, like, start competing with that cube again. But I would say no to those particular puzzles. I'm all for, like...
Yeah.
I'm all for, like, bringing new puzzles into the WCA. I know it's not that easy. I know you can't just, like, snap your fingers and, like, boom, add 20 events. But, I'd love to see new stuff and just not those two things, maybe.
Yeah.
Wait, did they say Siamese Cube?
Yeah,
Siamese Cube. I didn't think that was
Cube
an
is
event.
kind of like...
That's not an old event.
It was.
It was?
Wait.
I think it was,
No.
right? I thought it was.
It
My
might
old
be
events,
it might be a
I was
Rainbow
thinking
Cube.
Magic and Master Magic, and I would say no to that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
because
Magic
it's
and
not
Master
as
Magic
interesting
shouldn't...
Oh,
Yeah.
Magic,
Yeah.
no.
I
Magic,
don't
no.
think- yeah,
I think,
don't
if
think
anything,
it's
WCA should be, like, going away from, like, the Magic and Clock non-twisty puzzle area. But, like, whatever. Clock, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you can keep Clock
Yeah,
if
clock
you want,
at least
but
you can
whatever.
actually solve differently.
Yeah. Yeah. Wait,
Yeah.
Dana, do you know about, like, the older events like that? Because, like, I know there was a thing that, like, Rainbow Cube was an event, like, for, like,
I
one or
didn't
two
know about
competitions or something.
that. The only older
I'm
events I know
pretty
about are
yeah.
the Magics.
I'm pretty sure it was literally that somebody decided at a comp to do Rainbow Cube and officially record the times. And
Yeah.
I think I read this on Speed Solving forums, but like, and so nobody had a Rainbow Cube because it was like a spur of the moment thing. So like everybody used the same Rainbow Cube. I'm pretty sure. So that's the only WC event that has ever existed that every official time is on one puzzle.
Oh, man.
That's pretty funny.
if that's true.
I love
Like,
I love
don't- I
the
don't
old
know.
WCA. Like, if you've ever looked at the old regulations, it's like they've changed so much since then.
Yeah.
It's like kind of ridiculous what they used to be.
Yeah.
Huh.
But like general
I would
thoughts.
say
of-
Siamese Cube, no. Because,
That-
like, it's basically 3x3. Like,
Two of
it's
them.
like 3x3 with a few limitations. It's
Yeah.
kind I don't know. I don't find it to be, like, that much more unique.
Yeah, I think that's an argument a lot of people go to a lot of the times. And I was just about to say, like, what do you guys think about Siamese Cube? And although I agree to some extent, I don't think that's the valid argument to make. I mean, you can make that argument for, like, all N by Ns. Like, five
that's
similar
true.
to 7. Yeah. Like, all right, but, like, I don't really like that argument. I think, like new denominations of puzzles, like, bring new things to the table. That's
Yes,
why
I
I'm
agree.
generally a proponent for, like, shape mods. Like, I would love to see Mirror Cube be introduced. A lot of people are
I
like,
like that. I
no,
like
it's
Mirror
3x3, you're stupid. But I'm like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think the thing with that one is that, like, it's 3x3, but it's still a different strategy because it's not visual. I mean, it is visual, but it's like, it's a different type of visual, I guess.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
it's
and
not
just...
looking at the colors anymore.
Yeah, and just something I want to bring up for the listeners at home who may not know. Dana Yee, our guest, is a delegate, so she might
That's
have
me, I am.
an interest, a different perspective than the rest of us on like WCA questions. So, just curious, what do you think about new events and stuff like that?
I think some new events are a good idea. Like, I like the introduction of Squan and Scoob, even if I personally don't like Scoob. just because it's a different type of puzzle than anything that's been introduced previously.
Yeah.
So like the Siamese cube, I don't think that would be that interesting because it would take too long to be interesting, and it basically is just 2 3x3s with a couple limitations.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the other problem with Siamese cube is like you could have multiple different types of Siamese cubes. Like you could glue
True.
2 3x3s together in a bunch of different ways. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
you need to
Yeah.
define
Yeah.
like which one. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We've addressed this question a lot, like the general question, like if you had to add events, what events would you add? Like we've talked about this at least 3 times on this podcast.
Yeah.
But it's always
Yeah,
good to
for
get like
sure.
a new perspective, especially with a delegate. Like what do you think about that, Dana? Like if you were to choose 3 puzzles, what would the 3 be?
3, I don't know, because I generally don't do non-WC events, but I think people were trying to push kill mix for a while, and I think that would be pretty interesting because it's essentially the same as a Mega Mix, but it would be faster and perhaps more enjoyable, and it's also different from other events. I usually spend my time thinking about what events I'd remove instead of add.
Which events are those?
Yeah, which
Alright,
events?
this is definitely a personal preference, so this doesn't, like, but I personally don't like Scube, Pyraminx, or Clock, or Feet. But they're not going to remove all those. That's just a personal thing, though.
Just try to take away
I
your
saw
top
Daniel
10.
sit up a
Yeah,
little
you
bit.
got
Yeah, no,
in those 4 events. You
I
got
saw
my 2
Daniel
best
sit
ones.
up a little bit on that one.
Pyraminx?
I have nothing against them. I respect everyone who practices them and is fast at them. I just personally don't like them.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I don't respect Pyraminx.
He only solves pyramids. He doesn't respect you.
Yeah.
And I just think it's an arbitrary exercise to go through the rest of us because we've said it all before. If you want to find it,
Yeah.
go find that other
Yeah.
podcast we talked
Yeah,
about it.
that's true.
So it's all right.
It's all a scheme to get them to listen to the other episodes.
Yeah, why don't you click through every single one, keep them all open so like the ads play out.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
That would help. All right.
Yes, please.
All right, Allison, you want to take the next one?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so it's from the 6 Sides. And the question is, what were your first speed cubes?
Oh, wow. Well, my first cube was a Rubik's brand. My first speed cube was actually an orange old plastic Diane Guhong.
Oh, wow.
And I remember this because Zach Goldman gave it to me at my first comp.
Oh,
Because I went to the comp with the intention of using the Rubik's brand as my main.
Oh.
Yeah. And then,
Oh.
yeah, someone, I think they just had an extra thing. I was like, oh, I'll take it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
okay. So yeah, I also started with the Rubik's brand, but my first speed cube was a stickerless Sanchi because I'm mainstream. But my second one was actually an illusion Fangshi.
Ooh,
Okay.
fancy.
Oh yeah,
Daniel?
my okay, so yeah, also my first cube was a Rubik's brand. Then after that, I got a stickerless Diane Guhong V1. Because well, it's actually kind of funny. At the time, I had like started cubing a couple months before I got my first speed cube, and I didn't know anything about speed cubes. I just knew that there were speed cubes. So it was like the holiday season, and I asked my parents for just a speed cube, like no specifications at all, and somehow they were able to find a Guhong, which was like one of the best at the time. Like the Zanshi probably would have been better, but like still, a Guhong was pretty good. So I got lucky with that. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I'm the only one here that did not have a Diane for a speed cube. So Rubik's, and
right.
then then I had a Shangshao Wind. Shangshao Wind.
Oh.
It was absolute trash. Oh my goodness. It was I still say to this day, I still have it. I still say to this day it's worse than my Rubik's. I think because I added WD-40, it probably like melted some or like dissolved some plastic or something.
Man.
Because it's just absolute garbage, and it has like it's weird. It has these like this tile like it's like the corners are just like caps with stickers on
Yeah.
them. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Right. So I
have
specifically
one, I think.
remember in 7th grade this traumatic event where I was letting somebody borrow my cube, right? He turns around to give it back to me. He throws it back to me. Drops on the ground and the whole thing just shatters. So this thing was both a brick and super fragile at the same time. So I hate it so much. And then I got a Zanchi and everything was fine. But
Nice.
yeah, no, but
I think
like
you
the wind
destroyed it
sucked.
because I got a win and it was not that bad. Like, it was actually
No,
pretty good.
I've never, ever heard of somebody who hated their wind as much as me. It has to be the WD-40. Like,
Yeah,
that's
no, I've
probably
tried
what did it.
winds
I
before
think
that
it was
have been
something you
good.
did to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's funny though.
Oh man. Meanwhile,
traumatic experiences with
today,
cubes.
Daniel and I attend this volunteering event, and we have a friend there who started getting into cubing, and he's looking to buy his first puzzle. He gets advice from us. He gets a GTS M2.
Wow.
2M. I keep saying M2.
Oh wow,
People,
first puzzle.
people give me a lot of, like, people are hating on me for that. 2M, yeah. So, like, today people are getting, like, GTSs as their first
That's
cube.
insane.
Yeah.
Back in our day,
I
we
mean,
got
that's only
this-
by recommendation though.
Yeah,
Sure, but, like, what a
But the-
difference that is, you know, like...
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even if I
But
had,
I mean, after getting a Rubik's, their first speed cube would probably be like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, would probably be like a GTS.
yeah.
What were you going to say, Daniel?
Oh, I was
I
gonna
was
say
just
even
gonna
if I
keep-
had what?
Oh.
What?
What?
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say cubing hardware has evolved so much recently.
Yeah.
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 And like even in the past, if you got a cube upon recommendation, you would have gotten a Diane Zanchi.
Yeah,
That's true.
that's what I was
But-
just gonna
That's
say.
true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, relatively, if you're, like, just based on, like, absolute performance, obviously a GTS is better. But, like, relatively, they're both at, like, the top of the market at the time, so I guess you could make an argument that it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, yeah. It just, obviously a GTS is better, so, as a first puzzle, so...
yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Like I remember when the Fang Shi Shuang Ren was a thing, and it was like possibly like the Zanchi killer, and that was like crazy that something could beat the Zanchi.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like I don't know, Moyu came around and it was like I don't know.
Yeah, Feng Shi was dead.
Yeah.
But, like,
Yeah.
you know what's funny? You know how they had a non-WCA, like, offshoot brand, like Limcube?
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
There have been a lot of puzzle releases from Limcube recently. I've seen it on the Cubicle.
Mm.
They have a
pretty
lot of
interesting.
weird cubes, right?
Yeah, very, very
Yeah.
strange,
Yeah.
one-off. Like, I haven't heard a lot about them at all, but, like, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't make it in the speed cube market, so just go for non-WCA.
Yep, true.
I mean, Fang Shi
Yeah.
Do you
cubes
think
were
it's
pretty
like
cool for a while. Like they
They
were
were
trendy.
really good.
They were the
Yeah.
they were like the cool non-mainstream thing to have almost for a little bit.
But then like they
Oh,
became
yeah.
too mainstream. Like
I don't know, they were
everyone had
like-
them for a little while.
in my opinion, they were like the Adidas to the, like, Nike for a while, and then it was like just not good after a while.
Then there were like dollar store brand shoes.
Wait,
Yeah.
you can get shoes at the
No,
dollar
they weren't that
store?
bad. They were I don't know. That was like the first thing I thought of.
Title? Dollar store
Dollar
shoes.
store shoes.
Dollar store brand shoes. Do you think it's the case for everyone that like after you like for example start with the Rubik's or something that like people will start watching videos or whatever and then that's how they see like they get the name for their first speed cube?
I mean,
Because that was the case for me. Like
yeah, I can see that, but like the person that disproves that is like right in the skull. Like DG didn't do that, so like if you're considering that sample size, that's
That's
like
true.
25% of people. Not exactly accurate,
Wait,
but I'm just
and
saying.
Dana
I
didn't
mean,
do
wait,
that
but
either.
he had to have seen like what speed cubing was in general then in order to like ask for a speed cube in general.
Right, but
Even
I
if
just
it
knew
wasn't,
that
like, the name.
all I knew was that there was better than what I was using.
Yeah.
Like that was the only thing I really knew.
If you're like playing guitar and you're using like this relatively cheap guitar, you know there are more expensive guitars, but you don't know
That's true.
Yeah.
anything
Yeah.
about the more expensive guitars. Yeah.
Wait, so Dana, like,
That was a weird
had you-
analogy to make.
Had you heard of like Dana when you got
Yeah.
your Guhong? Had you like heard of speed cubes and stuff at the time, or did you just like were you like kind of more oblivious to like the speed cubing world?
Not actually, because like nowadays I mostly learn about new cubes either from like checking websites and stuff, but in the past I used to order all my cubes from eBay, so I didn't know what to look up. Like I would just look up 3x3 and then just pick whatever was there. So I didn't actually know. I don't think about the Guhong and Zanchi until I went to the comp.
Oh wow.
And at that comp, they were selling cubes, so that's how I learned about most of the new ones.
Yeah.
Like at the time, like the big thing in 4x4 was the Maru 4x4. So yeah,
Oh, man.
I got one of those.
That's really old
Wow.
school.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my goodness. This is like stuff we can't even relate
Yeah,
to.
you know, like when I started, the Shangshao V3 was a big thing, but like that was.
Yeah, like Shang
Yeah.
Shao 4x4s, yeah.
Oh man, but Maru, that's crazy.
Yeah, the center's still misaligned. It's garbage, but it was good back in the day.
better than a Rubik's, I guess.
I guess I've never actually tried a Rubik's.
They're pretty bad.
I
They,
would
like,
assume
don't
so.
Yeah. I had to solve a Rubik's 5x5 one time. That was the
Oh
worst.
Oh
god.
no.
Mm-mm-mm.
No.
Anyway,
Alright.
All
Next
right.
question.
Oh yeah, I'll take it. So
Okay.
CM Cubes asks, how would you say the rate of competitive cubing is changing? Do you think that at some point cubing will explode and many more people will join? Or do you think something like a lawsuit can crash the number of people joining? So this is like a really
This is
complicated
so
question.
relevant.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
It is.
Yeah, so, okay, I mean, anyone want to start about like the rate of cubing and stuff?
Well, I mean,
I think it's already been increasing in growth. Like the growth rate has already been increasing
Yeah.
for a while.
like I think a while ago there was a statistics thing on how many people join each year, and like 2010, 2011 was like 4,000 people, but I think last year we had 80,000 new competitors. So it's
Oh my
growing
God.
extremely fast, very quickly.
Wait. New I thought there were like 80,000 total.
Or
Like, I remember seeing
wait,
that statistic, I don't know.
Yeah,
feel
I
like it
think
was-
I think we're thinking about the same thing.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
definitely
total. I mean
saw that
total.
on
Yeah,
Facebook.
definitely not additional people. Okay, that was bad math. But yeah, it's definitely growing, and especially in regions like the Northeast where competitions can fill
Oh
up.
my god.
Registration can fill up in 10-15 minutes. It's
Oh my
crazy.
Yeah.
My first comp, I did not pre-register for.
Yeah, I
Like,
didn't either. I just showed up and registered there.
Yeah, same. It was crazy. That was...
I mean, I think I pre-registered, but like I still remember that you could sign up for any event that you wanted randomly
Yeah.
while at the comp and stuff. It was Princeton Winter 2014.
Okay.
do you think
Oh,
that's
that was the first. That was my last comp before I took a break.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
do you think that's like hurting growth of the community?
Wait, what part?
The fact that now the people who are only most aware of these competitions, you know, being the people who are competitive, who have been in the community for a while, are the people who sign up and fill up the competition in 10 minutes, leaving no space for anybody else. Like, do you think that's like hurting growth?
I think that is hurting growth a little bit, especially I have a couple competitions coming up, and I've had a lot of new people emailing me like, "Oh, we just saw this competition on the page, and it says registration is closed, but is there any way I can go?" I was like, no, sorry.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But it has been a little bit better in the Northeast because they changed the distance policy. It
Yeah.
used to be 200 kilometers and 26 days, but now it's 100 kilometers and 19 days. So we've been having a lot of competitions here, so more people can go. But it also does end up being
Yeah,
that
that's much
all the
nicer.
competitions are attended by the same people, so new people don't have a chance to get into the community. But
How would you like go about addressing that, do you think?
I honestly,
I mean, obviously it's like the
Yeah.
distance thing helps, but
I think it's just maybe getting the word out about competitions because people seem to like find them at a later date than after registration closes. So all the new people are on it, but
That's true.
new people don't
Yeah.
know where to look. So maybe if we figured out a way to advertise to more people, then we would have more newer competitors.
that's interesting.
Yeah. Something I thought about, I definitely remember, like, I think this used to be a thing, like, when the Cubing USA, like, when all the USA comps were, like, you would register on Cubing USA, I think you could, like, sign up to get email notifications when there was a competition within, like, a certain distance or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's still a thing, but, like, I feel
I
like...
think it's still a thing, but it doesn't
Is it?
work.
Oh.
Well,
That
well
doesn't help.
darn.
No, like, I
Yeah.
feel like that would be a really useful, like, you know, tool for people who are, like, because, you know, I feel like it must really hurt to say, like, no to these newcomers, but you could say, like, you know, if you want to know
Yeah.
about future comps in the area, like, sign up for email notifications or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it would be nice if that would work well.
I think that would work, but it will also be that also the same people going to those comps would get those emails too, and they
Right.
would probably sign up first. So, yeah, even
Yeah.
if maybe if someone saw the website, they wouldn't know that there are email notifications, so they wouldn't get the notifications, and then we would just have the same problem. But,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Another interesting point, like adding regionals and stuff is like showing a trend of like larger and larger competitions to
Yeah,
accommodate a
definitely.
larger community. So do you think like the base competition right now is like a local comp of 100 people? You think that's ever going to change in the future? Are we going to see local comps become 200, 300 people, or do you think that's going to like stay the same over time? Like,
Well, I mean, I assume we're talking just about North America, because there are still like comps around the world that are like 20, 30 people.
Yeah.
right.
But,
yeah, particularly
yeah.
addressing like the issue in the Northeast
Yeah.
because that's
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I think maybe if the competitor limit does get bigger, they won't be local comps anymore. There'll just be more bigger comps. So yeah, I think a local comp still would be around 100, 150 people.
Yeah.
Because once you start adding more people, it's going to become obviously a bigger comp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
And
kind of.
it's interesting.
What
Sorry,
were you saying?
real quick. It's interesting too because like I was even seeing this when I first did like I went to my first competition like Nationals 2014. Obviously, like you said with the advertisement, a Nationals event is going to be bigger than something else, right? So I'm going to hear about it more easily. It's bigger, so I had more time to sign up. So like you can already kind of see that trend. I think if you were to do like some data collecting on that, you would see that like larger competitions are better for newer people. So that's probably helping.
I'm kind of torn.
I was gonna say, I think the issue with like just expanding competitions for local competitions is just like venues.
Yeah, definitely. Especially like obviously in the Northeast, when you get to around New York, venues are so hard to find. Just generally, not many spaces can accommodate 200, 300, 400 people.
Yeah. I want to speak before DJ.
Sorry.
Can I just say that I want to continue this conversation so that DG cannot talk and say whatever he has to say. So I'm going to filibuster.
All right, moving on to the next question.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, no, I was gonna say like I'm just kind of torn about like the whole local comp thing, like what we were just talking about, because I really like the feeling of like small local comps. Like some of my favorite comps have been like really small, and you know like just like small, because you know like the smaller comps, it is sort of that like older cubing community, like the people who have been doing it for a while, and like those are the people I know, so I feel more comfortable in that sort of area. But like then at the same time, I also love competitions like nationals. Like that's, you know, it's nationals, like it's fun and stuff. Yeah. So like I'm kind of torn on like whether or not I want to see like more big comps, or if I want to like, you know, keep seeing like these local comps. Like, you know, it's like I want to have a balance, you know.
An interesting thought. Like, do you think regionals will be nationals light or like local comp on steroids? Like which one do you think it'll be? Like,
I definitely see it like a mini
community
nationals,
or like nationals light.
Yeah, I see it as mini nationals too.
Yeah, I don't know. Just interesting.
Like
thought.
Even Pennsylvania, like that was what 350 people or something. That felt like nationals, honestly, like a small nationals.
The
like,
room reminded me of Nats.
Yeah. Like, and also the way it was like a convention center connected to a hotel and everything. Like it was very nationals like.
Adam, you want to take the next question?
No. Why don't you take it? I want the long question.
Okay.
Sorry.
From Daniel Jew. What do you think your weaknesses? What do you think your weakness and your strengths are for 3x3 cross, look ahead, TPS, Alex, etc.
Except he didn't put an etc. or a close.
Except he didn't put etc. I just read etc. because it looked like a list.
Yeah.
It looked like a long list, so I was like, etc.
Yeah. All right, so I guess we could go around for this one, like to all of us. Dana, you can start.
All right. Well, my weakness is definitely last layer, because I don't know any AUGs. I don't even know full OL actually. I don't know the dot cases.
Oh shoot.
So I think I'm probably the slowest.
Do you do like
if you do
edge
EO,
control
do you
stuff?
really have to do no OL?
Well, yeah, but sometimes I accidentally get it and I just do 2 OLs.
Oh man. That's
I'm probably the slowest fast person ever.
Title.
Slowest fast person, Dana Yee.
Slowest fast person ever.
Yeah, so basically, if you've seen any of my good solves, my last layer, there's still tons of pauses. All my goodness, I guess, comes from look ahead in the first 2 layers. Yeah. If I get a last layer skip, I will get a 4. Hopefully.
Dana Yee, new world record. Last layer skip.
Just skip last layer, it's fine.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, I would say
shots.
My weakness is probably like, I mean, just when I'm not focusing and stuff, look ahead in general is kind of like a weakness. And I agree with last layer to some extent, except I know full OLL, and I know
That's already a plus.
I know like most of COLL. So like I wouldn't. I think actually sometimes it's a bit of a weakness because I try to force EO too much, just so I can feel like I'm cool for using COLL. But then like it's really probably not faster in the long run. But I just want to look like I know ALGs. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That's probably weakness. Strengths are probably like, I don't know. I feel like I have a pretty good cross. I don't know. Maybe F2L first pair. I don't know.
Go ahead, Allison.
I would say my weakness is the same as Dana, like last layer and like algs, because I don't really know any algs, and my last layer is just like my last layer split is just generally really slow, and like I guess that also ties into TPS too. Like my alg TPS is not amazing. And I guess my strength would just be like look ahead is generally pretty smooth if I'm concentrating.
Yeah. So for me, on 3x3, my weakness is probably 3x3. No. Currently I'm trying to work on cross to F2L transition, and by work on I mean like practice it once a month. So, and that's that. I don't have
I was expecting
strengths. I mean, you see the people, Dana, you see the people I hang out with. They're all like sub 15. I'm like 19, 18, like whatever. I have this bad habit of comparing myself to them instead of other people, but like whatever. I don't really care as much either. So.
I was expecting something like my weakness is as practice.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. Actually, Allison, when you mentioned TPS, that's like definitely a weakness for me too. Like, I don't know, I just don't turn quickly, and like PLL, I'm not fast.
I don't think that's.
Yeah, my TPS is okay, but for last layer, I'll have a 1 second pause and then like a half second out.
Okay.
Like, and my recognition is really bad. Like, if I get a PLL skip, it will take me half a second to recognize it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of me too. I think especially OLL skips throw me off.
Oh yeah,
because you
There's
don't
still another
expect
step
them.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Like you don't end.
Yeah.
So it's like, wait, what?
Yeah. like wait, that was good, but I still have to do something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh well, that's not there anymore. But oh shoot.
It's an end perm.
Yeah.
But
And
if I had to like really critique my own solves, I'd probably say like my crosses are alright, but like I have this bad habit of looking at it even though I still know how to do it. Like in general, like from what I understand, you're supposed to look at your F2L when you're doing your cross.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I find myself looking at my cross even though I know what to do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I have to work on that. Then F2L, I just need better technique, like on some cases, but generally, I could do like a walkthrough solve and match up pretty well with people that are much better solvers than me, like as far as the moves I'm doing. So that's pretty good. And then last layer stuff, I don't know full OLL. That doesn't really matter though. And as Dana shows, so like whatever. And then I don't practice like alg execution at all. So like I'd say probably my PLOs are all 2 seconds and over. Something like
Wait, Adam,
that's the least of my concern right now.
How many OLLs do you know now, Adam?
Probably 42.
Okay, so
41.
all right.
Why?
that's pretty close.
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, I remember because like I was learning PLL and OLL, and I was learning through like I was getting through OLL, and I was like starting like in the high 30s, and then I was like, why am I doing this? I'm not even sub 20. Like, what the hell is wrong with me? I did the same thing with beginners, and like I'm convinced I like my whole cubing career, if you want to call it that, my whole cubing experience would be different if I spent more time on beginner's method.
I
So
don't
hear me
agree
out
with
with
that.
this. I've said this theory before.
I've never
If I
agreed with
spent
you
more
on that.
time getting faster on beginner's method, then switched, I would be so much faster now.
I don't know.
At
I don't know. I really disagree with that theory.
That's like weird. Like I don't necessarily see how that would like maybe like you would be focusing more on like basic
it's
steps.
not
and that
about it's not about the method. It's about like the technique. Like
yeah, I agree with that.
if you spend
yeah.
more time mastering technique and then transition, then you have like better technique for the new method. So like I don't know. That's my own personal theory about it. But like, and I caught myself before I finished this. But like I'm not even sub 20. I'm learning full OLL. Like I'm an insane person. Like there's sub 10 people that don't know full OLL. Like let me get sub 20
Wait, there
first.
are?
We're going full circle again. So I told myself, let me get sub 20, and then it's been like 2.5 years, and I'm sub 20, and I've never like said I should go back and learn OLL. Like doesn't matter.
I remember at Nets 2014. Wow. Ava and I like we're still didn't know our last G perms, and we're like at 17.
Oh yeah, you guys took forever to learn PLL.
Yeah, we took a really long time to learn PLL, like both of us. I don't know why. We just both of us were really bad at like learning the last, and we literally just saved the G perms and we're like, we don't want to do this, and then just saved it for like the end. But we were like already at 17 something, and then like we're working our way down from there. I don't even know where OLL came in. Like I have no idea when I learned OLL.
It's funny, like now Ava knows like 100 ZBLLs or something like that.
Yeah.
Somehow, and like Squan,
Wouldn't learn her
CSP, and everything.
Yeah.
Like somehow she got good at ALGs.
Yeah. You guys, I feel like have always focused on like the speed of what you're doing currently before like learning new things, and because I've been around that, like, and you've always been like 1 or 2 steps ahead of me, like speed wise. I feel like I'm always like, if I'm being serious about solving, I'm always playing catch up technique wise. Like, so I'm always like, oh, now they're doing this thing, let me learn that. Oh, now they're doing this thing, let me learn that. And then like that's where I'm having the gaps because I'm not spending time trying to get fast at it. So, yeah. Those are my excuses for being slow.
Moving on.
It's your fault. It's not me. It's you guys.
Wait, before we move on to the next question, I just want to say, like, so I picked the questions for this episode. I really, really like this one. So, Adam, this is a good question.
Yeah, this is why I wanted to read it. This is insane. Like, this is some next level stuff right here.
Yeah.
Right?
Shout out to the Six Sides. I met him at Incredible Pennsylvania. He's a cool guy. But yeah.
Shout out to the Six Sides. All right, the Six Sides says, have you ever considered coding answers for a test into a scrambled Rubik's Cube, leaving it on your desk during the test, and then just using a blind method to retrieve the answers in the middle of testing? I've always thought about this, and I think it's interesting. For harder tests with more information, you might be able to use a 5x5 or something bigger. Note, I don't condone cheating on tests. I'm not responsible if you somehow get caught using this concept. All right, let me say, have you ever seen the movie Now You See Me?
Yeah, I've seen that.
That reminds me of this. Like this idea reminds me of that movie so much for whatever reason. It's like super. I just think it's super.
Is it just
cool.
like the trickery aspect? Like,
yeah,
or like
the
using
deception.
code and stuff. Yeah.
That's so smart.
Yeah. Well,
It really is.
It's actually really cool. But wait, so this is implying that someone got you the multiple choice answers or something,
Well,
and you're just
No, you could like theoretically code like words into it.
yeah, and formulas and stuff.
But
Yeah,
would you have to like
That's
pick
true.
it up and like move it?
Ideally,
Like,
you
at
would.
no,
least
you
rotate
track if it's a blind
Yeah.
method, you would track all your
You can track
your
cycles
moves
and stuff.
beforehand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then it's a matter of, does your teacher let you keep a cube on desk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see why like they wouldn't be able to think of that.
Yeah. Nobody would
Too.
think like, wow, this Rubik's Cube is making him cheat.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
but also
it's
no
like-
teacher would say, it is specifically okay to keep a Rubik's Cube on a
Yeah.
desk.
But if you had it like casually out and you just had it on your desk, but you weren't even touching it, like I don't think they would have a problem with it.
But they might
Here's
get
the issue I
suspicious
see.
if you were just staring at it in the middle of the test.
Yeah.
That's true.
Here's the issue I see.
But also there are a lot of like you might just stare off in the distance or
Yeah.
something like while
When you're
thinking during a
thinking,
test.
yeah.
Like but yeah, they might not suspect
That's
that like
true.
if you're just staring at one spot in your desk, it could just be you like thinking.
That's true.
There are two types of teachers in my book. Like, obviously, there are, like, two sides of the general spectrum, right? You got those teachers that are like, separate your desks, put up a binder, put up this
Yeah.
divider. No, only your pen, your water bottle, that's it. Let me check your water bottle.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah. Let me check your
And
pen
then,
too.
and then there's like...
Let me take your pen.
and then there's a teacher who's like, it's like hands out the quiz. There's no barriers. Like go. Like
Yeah.
lets people talk during the quiz.
Oh, yeah,
And then
yeah.
halfway through
Yeah.
says you can use your books, whatever. And then I've had that teacher. It's that like I've had that like teacher on that extreme because he was like retiring next year and he really didn't care. So like I remember one quiz is the only time I've technically cheated. We were doing like what was it? I think it was A Midsummer Night's Dream. I think either that or it was Hamlet. It was Hamlet, and so we had our books to use. It was open books, and so of course nobody studied, right? And the quiz was like common quotes, and like you had to say who said it. right? So I'm flipping through this book, and like everybody's like flipping through the whole book, like trying to skim for these quotes, like insane people, because we all want to get a good grade, like, and we'll do anything. We're trying to read the book, literally read the whole book in the class, trying to find the answer, right?
Yeah.
So I'm flipping through this, and I'm like, there's got to be an index for this. So like I go to the back of the book. Common quotes, and it says who said it, and like half of them were on there.
That's so good.
Like I'm like copying these down, and I'm like, man, like I gotta tell people about this. So like I keep kicking the person next to me, my friend next to me, and until he looks, and I'm like, they're in the back of the book, and he's like, oh, right. So now he's looking in the back of the book. Test is over, and at the end, my teacher says, oh, by the way, guys, answers are in the back of the book. And so I'm like, oh, so I like cheated for nothing. So then everybody just went to the back of the book and copied down the answers.
That's so good.
Yeah.
See,
I don't know how that story relates, but
Yeah.
That's
I've
funny.
recently, I have something that bothers me a little bit. So in my stat class that I'm taking right now, and I'm gonna openly admit to this because it's not cheating, but some people might think it is. So we get TI Inspires for calculators for the whole test, right?
Yeah.
And my teacher told me in the beginning of the year, she told the whole class, you will be allowed to use your Inspires for the entire test, or for every test and for the entire test, because you can for the whole AP. So
Wait,
like,
you can't use Inspire with the QWERTY keyboard on AP.
it doesn't have a QWERTY keyboard though.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know why. You can use the one that goes A B C D,
Yeah.
but you can't use the
Yeah,
one
that's what I have.
like a keyboard.
What?
Yeah.
like that's gonna stop
It's
you. Like,
weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
So
so
I have to type longer. That'll
Yeah. It'll take longer to cheat now.
if by some chance someone who goes to my school listens to this podcast and listens to this much of it and shows it to my stat teacher, I don't care because it's not cheating. But anyway, like recently I found a website where you can convert PDF files to Nspire files. So
Yeah.
I just take a picture of my notes, put it as a PDF, go to that website, convert it, put it on my Nspire, and then I just have my notes for the whole test. I'm gonna keep it
Does
there
your
for the
teacher
AP.
Yeah.
know about this?
Yeah.
Does my my teacher knows that you can do things with, like, teachers aren't oblivious to how powerful the Nspire is. I'm
Right,
sure,
but like,
they
does
can,
she know that you're literally looking at your notes during the test?
I don't know. But like, see, the thing that bothers me about it, right, is like, I can do this. It's an okay thing. She never told me I couldn't do it, and many other people do it as well. Like, it's the way to go, right? And so like, but also recently she's been making it so you don't sit at your normal desks where like the places you normally sit. She just takes your index cards with your names on them and puts them all around the room in different locations. And like, so you're sitting next to someone random, like, to prevent cheating. But the thing is, I don't need to cheat in that class because I have all my notes. Like, like, you're not stopping anything.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
That's pretty
theoretically,
funny.
even with like the TI-84, you could just like write all your notes in a program and just open the program and look at it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's
Yeah,
there's
I mean,
no way
even
to
before
prevent it.
even before I found the PDF thing, like, I was just writing notes. Like, I was, instead of
Yeah.
taking notes in a notebook for that class, I was just typing them in my Nspire as she taught.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, you know,
that's
That's
next
pretty
level
funny.
stuff. Like, it's like, you know, like the the memes where it's like the brain thing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
it's like taking notes in class, typing notes in class, typing notes into your calculator in class.
Loading a PDF of your notes
Yeah.
onto your calculator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but like
no,
going
straight
back
up,
to
like-
the main idea, like I feel like the type of teacher that would allow you to keep a Rubik's Cube on your desk during a test would also just allow you to do that kind of stuff. Like look at the back of the book for answers,
Yeah.
download your
Right.
notes, like
yeah. Yeah,
what's the
that's very
point? You
true.
know, there's like little payoff there.
I-
But like
I
if you
think
can
in-
find a teacher in the middle, that's good.
I think in such a situation as that, you have to put so much effort into putting whatever answers you want onto the cube and like setting it up and make sure it doesn't change that you might as well just learn the information.
Yeah.
That's just a general
Oh, yeah,
thing
that's
with
kinda
cheating. There are
true.
like such elaborate ways
Yeah.
to do it, and they take so much time. Just learn the information.
Yeah.
I feel like there's people that like spend so much time creating like cheat cards or whatever,
Yeah.
and then by the time they finish, they've learned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were
Yeah.
they were writing down what was important.
Yeah. No,
Like,
honestly, like, for stat this year, like, you know, I put all that stuff on my Nspire, but as I do it, like, I'm looking at it and I'm learning it. And, like, I do the homework for the class and everything, so it's really just there as a backup, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, like for physics, like we would be allowed, because the AP exam gives you the whole equation sheet anyway, but we would be allowed to write whatever we want on increasingly smaller size cheat sheets depending on what quarter it is.
Okay.
And so like we would spend so much time like writing really small, like all these little cheat notes, and I would never use the card because I had already like learned everything by writing it.
Yeah,
Also,
I've
if you
had
write
classes like
things
that too.
so small, you generally don't have time to go through your entire list and find what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like the only time I kind of looked at it was as reassurance, because by the end of the year our tests started being cumulative. Like he would put one FRQ that was like from a previous topic.
Yeah.
So then I kind of like checked to like make sure I wasn't doing something wrong from the previous topic. But other than that, like it was easy.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. I just thought of a perfect application. In IB, the International Baccalaureate, which is like the program my school has, similar to AP, if anybody hasn't heard of it, except worse. So when we take our IB test, this is an actual rule that people follow. You're allowed to bring in a talisman. So that's like that's the words that the IB uses to describe. Not my words, literally what it says in the rules.
Yeah.
Students are allowed to bring in a talisman. So like as a joke, we all say, "What's your talisman?" Right? So for people who don't know, talisman is a good luck charm. So my talisman, I took one IB test last year. My talisman for IB history was a Rubik's Cube, and I kept a Rubik's Cube on my desk while taking this IB test. Nobody's stopping you from doing that technique. And the cube being your talisman. So, just saying.
Wait, what is the... Why is that in the...
That's
I
the
don't
most
know,
ridiculous
but
thing I've ever heard, though. You're allowed to bring a good luck charm.
It's super dumb. This is like a summary of this program.
This is like the most random thing to include.
People bring in the most random stuff. Like somebody brought in a sombrero hat. Somebody brought in like this little tiny like Mario figure. Like all sorts of weird stuff. Like stuffed animals. Like just for fun. Like why not? It's my talisman. Right? So you're not allowed to take it away from me.
Can you just bring in like a blanket and just like
what if my good luck charm is all the ansers? Like a figure with all the answers.
Within limits. Within limits, obviously. But like you're not allowed to have anything that has blatant information in it. But like No, but I think this year I'm gonna bring in my 13 by 13.
And
oh my
you could
goodness.
encode so much in that.
Yeah. I think it would be a bit suspicious if it was scrambled. Maybe a bit suspicious if it's scrambled. Also, those tests are very based on speed. So, decoding your notes from a Rubik's Cube... decoding your notes from a
speed blind is
Rubik's
only
Cube
fast
takes
in execution.
skill. I think there's a very,
so just
very
memorize
small...
everything before and then do it really quickly during the exam.
Oh my goodness.
I think there's a very small demographic that'd be able to pull this off with the right teacher in the right in the right class or like the right program, like somebody who's fast enough at blind, who's like not spending too much time setting it up. Like there are too many things. Like it's a great idea. It's like really fun to talk about, but like nobody's gonna use this. So
honestly, thank you so much to the Six Sides for bringing this conversation up. That's one of the best questions we've gotten in a while.
Yeah.
All right, moving on though. Seth Griffin asks, for Dana, do you plan on competing in the Red Bull Championship since you were in the video for it?
Well, actually, this is an interesting question because I might do it just to see how it's run because obviously Red Bull, they've been successful, so they might be able to run a competition well. But I've heard I think the qualifier in Austria or whatever it was, apparently they ran hours behind with like 30 competitors. So I kind of want to see how they do it. Yeah. I wouldn't. It's not like I'm like obviously not going against WCA or anything. That's ridiculous for people who say that. But it would be interesting to see how it is run if it's not too far, and also the prize pool is pretty big. So. Would you guys consider doing it?
I would actually. Of course. Yeah, I would. I would totally consider it. Just
that was a joke.
No, I would totally consider it. Just like just for the meme,
Yeah. Also, like it could provide valuable information as to what direction Rubik's and Red Bull are actually going with this thing, like to see where it's gonna go. Yeah. Because otherwise, I wouldn't know. I haven't really been updated on this in a while, so.
Right.
Yeah, I really like. There's no harm in it. Like people overreacted at first. We've discussed this before on the podcast. But we talked about. I'm not gonna try to like bring up another serious conversation about it, but like, people overreacted at first, and it'll be interesting to see what direction they take it. So
Yeah. I definitely did overreact when I first saw it. Like, it felt like an attack the first time I saw it, but, like, you know, now I've let it, you know, cool down a little bit, like, get used to the idea, and, like, I'm okay with it happening, but, like, I feel like it's gonna fail.
Yeah.
Like,
like I don't know, but I'm unsure about it, but like I would just let it happen.
Yeah.
Whatever happens. So
I think it's mostly due to like mob mentality. Like,
Yeah.
you go there, you see
Yeah.
the news, you see the comments, you see people are upset, you get upset.
Yeah.
Like, it just takes a few people
Yeah.
to like get people like really angry. So
Yeah. Just out of
you know, it's
curiosity,
fine.
Dana, when they first, like, approached you about it, like, what was your initial reaction? Like, because, you know, you obviously didn't get the same, like, information that everybody else got when we first found out about it, but, like, you know, what was your first thoughts?
I don't remember when the video came out, but I think I was invited to do it a couple, like, maybe in September. I didn't know anything about the lawsuit or, like, the not being able to use cubes. Like, when I got there, I asked, oh, can I use my cube? And they're just like, oh, just use this one for now and we'll let you know. And that's when I was like,
Ooh.
this doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
And it just, problems arose from there, and I didn't see the entirety of it until after the video came out. But
That's disappointing.
Yeah.
that
Where did you go to film it?
it was in the Red Bull studio in Austria.
Oh, wow. So, like, did they fly you out there and
dang.
stuff?
Yeah, I went for 24 hours.
That's
This is
pretty cool, though.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. So this is going to be the last question. Then we're going to be moving on to our next segment.
Oh,
so,
I have a question though too.
Oh yeah, Adam.
Second to last question. Go.
Oh, you. Okay, so we're asking this one then. Then you. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't mean to confuse you. You just said last question. I just want to say I have a question too.
Do you want to ask said question now?
I don't know. Let's roll a die.
No. Okay. I'm just gonna ask this one. Okay. All right. Duncan Bannon asks, "What is the hardest part about hosting a competition?" So I haven't
Who's
hosted a
this
comp. This is just for everyone, but like Adam and I haven't hosted a comp before. Allison, I know you have, and Dana, you've hosted comps before, and you've delegated obviously. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I guess you two can take over for this one.
All right, Allison, you want to go first?
Hardest part. I'm trying to think of like a specific hardest part. I mean, because I wasn't involved in like the main like getting venue and stuff because that was like I don't live up there, so that was like Sriracha and Sam because they live there, and this venue was used previously. But Well, okay, first of all, the most surprising and like crazy part was registration actually because of how quickly it was going. That's just like the initial like, whoa, what the heck? Because it just started like rolling and you just get like 30 at once and be like, what?
Yeah.
But actual hardest, I don't know, it's actually really hard to think of. Because I think it would be the logistical like venue stuff, but since I wasn't involved in that, it's hard to like pinpoint something else. So do you have one? Because I don't have one yet, so I don't know.
Not hardest, but registration obviously is very hectic. And I've forgotten about my own registrations like opening before, so I received like 30 emails and they're like, oh, they registered for your comp. I'm like, oh, I should sign up for it too. That's
really funny.
Yeah.
Hardest
I
part
would
about
say
organizing a comp, signing
is
up.
registering for your own comp.
Yeah.
No, but I would say the hardest things are the day of, just because you're in the moment and things tend to get very stressful.
That's true.
Like at Penn, I think we had a lot of staff members didn't show up for whatever reason. They were sick, and I think we accidentally scheduled on Super Bowl Sunday. So we were very short-staffed. So I was like constantly running around telling people what to do and asking for more judges. But other than that, comps usually run pretty well. And like the community at this point, they know how to help out, even if they're new people.
Yeah, we lost some staff also, but like it wasn't really that big of an issue during the competition.
Yeah.
Like we were easily ahead of schedule. So like since the competition ran really well, like I don't really have much to say in terms of being really difficult.
Yeah.
So
I mean, one thing that was a slight problem at the first of my comps was my timers for some reason weren't working, like half of them.
I see that picture.
Yeah, it turned out to be
Picture.
there was nothing wrong with the timers. They were just the batteries. We switched them and they all work now. But that was a little frustrating because I only had one backup, so we were running a couple time stations short at some points. But
Yeah.
just change the batteries.
I mean,
So bring batteries, kids.
Yeah, buy extra batteries.
Daniel and I are the least qualified to like answer this question.
Yep.
Yet at the same time, we can answer.
What about
Because-
would you guys consider preventing a comp or preventing organizing? I just totally forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna
Prevent
ask
title?
competitions.
Hey,
I was
hey,
gonna ask
GG, let's
you-
go prevent a cop. Let's go.
I was gonna ask you if you what has prevented you from organizing a comp, and I just mixed up my words.
Yeah, that's what I was getting
That's
to.
pretty
We
funny.
tried.
Yeah.
We tried.
Yeah.
Was it, how long ago was it, DG? Was it 1.5 years ago? 1 year ago?
Probably about a year
last
ago.
summer, right?
A year and a half ago is probably like when we were still considering it, because like
We tried.
the problem
Yeah.
we
Go on.
had was finding a venue in the area that would
What I
let
was
us
gonna say.
use them as a venue. So okay, there's like sort of a story behind it. We were going to, so my first competition was at a library. It was Monmouth County Open 2013, I think, was the name of it. And or Manalapan Open or something, I don't know. And it was at this library, and so I wanted to see if we could organize another competition at that library, because it's convenient for us, and it would be nice if we could organize it there. So we went there and we were like, we know you've had competitions here before, so can we do another one? And then they were like, okay, so we don't like having winners and losers at the library.
Wait, what?
So-
Wait, I don't remember
so-
hearing about this.
So then so they said, okay, how about you write a proposal for what you want to do, and then we'll consider it and let you know. So Adam and I spent like a couple weeks, probably more, drafting like a long proposal, like multiple pages, explaining in detail how a competition works, how it's really not about like winners and losers, and it's a big community experience, and it's just a fun time and stuff. And so we sent it to them, and they were like, unfortunately we can't, sorry. And that was about it.
Yeah, this was
No
despite...
reason?
No,
this was
and
despite, like... I had connections there, like...
yeah.
It was
We had
like,
everything
it's very
going for us
frustrating.
going into it, but for whatever
Yeah.
reason, they were just like, we can't have winners and
Yeah.
losers here.
So that was the other issue. If we were going to do it there, like, the only way it would work out is if we didn't charge a registration fee, which is just not going to
Right.
happen. Like, that's not gonna
That
happen.
was a difficulty too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like we tried
Um,
schools and stuff, but all the schools in the area were like opposed to it for some reason.
We tried our own school and, like, our own schools.
Yeah.
My school was like, if you're not an official club, you can't do it. And I had a club organized, but it wasn't official. It was unofficial. And, like, that's a whole other issue. My school's a mess with that stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, it never worked out. And so it's disappointing. And
Yeah.
I feel strongly that if we were to try again now, we could do it.
I think we could. I feel
it's
like
a
there was
lack of
also like,
time.
I feel like we lost motivation over time too, because like
Yes.
there are a lot of comps in the area, so it's not like we're in dire need of one, But like it would be
Yeah.
fun to organize one. Was kind of the motivation that we had, but then like just the difficulties with finding a venue and everything just prevented us at the time.
Yeah, my school is also I kind of want to do one at my school also, and they're not asking me to have my own club, but they do need a club backing to allow me to use the venue. So we're trying to get that.
Kind of like
But
what Red Cross
our
did.
English teacher actually Okay, so I want to do it in conjunction with my friend's charity, and like have her kind of be able to advertise there for it. And so her charity is like related to like providing for like the poor and stuff in India and for girls. And so they recommended some clubs that are kind of related to that cause. And actually our both of us have the same English teacher, and our English teacher runs a club that's like related to that. So we're thinking of just like asking our English teacher, and hopefully it works out. Like hopefully she supports that, and then we can get the venue. But yeah.
All right, so Adam, you had a question, and then we're gonna move on to the next segment.
Yeah. Many people say that, like, cubing is multifaceted, in that, like, there are many hobbies within the hobby. Like, you could be a modder, you could be a speed solver, content creator. So to Dana, who would be considered probably somebody who's mainly concerned with two areas, delegating and speed cubing, which one's the main one? Which one's your focus?
Wow, that's an interesting
Ooh.
one. I think they highly overlap. That's like a answer to elude the question, but interesting. So I'm delegating a lot of comps upcoming soon, but I also am practicing. I honestly don't think one outweighs the other. I think I put in equal time into both. I'm still practicing, hopefully getting faster. But I also I want to help new comps, run well, and I want to delegate and have more help other people go to comps and stuff. That was a really bad answer.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, just thought it.
Just becoming a delegate hasn't brought my focus away from practicing and improving as much as I can, basically.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so those are all the questions that we're going to be answering in this episode. So if you have any questions for us or our next guest, who I'll announce later, you can leave them in the comments. But now we're going to be moving on to our next segment, which is one sentence story. So we haven't done this in a while, but it's a really fun segment. So hopefully it goes well this time. It's always gone well, but when we've done it. So basically the way this is going to work is, well, first I'll explain what the segment is. So basically we take turns and we each say we each write down a sentence, and just a single sentence, and then we tell the next person in line just 3 words about that sentence, and then that person will have to, based on those 3 words, they have to come up with a sentence to follow up whatever they think your sentence was about. And then eventually by the end, we're going to have like a story after we loop around through all 4 of us, 3 times or something. We'll have a short story. And they always end up really ridiculous. And the reason this started was because of a cubing news article that seemed like it was written by 3 people, in this style.
But
it was
without,
just so poorly
without
written.
any context.
No consistency or anything. But so that's basically the goal of this. So just to emulate that. Okay, so we're going to cut out the part where we actually go through the story and make it, because that's kind of boring to listen to. So when we come back, we're going to go over all the sentences that we came up with, and then we're going to read them as the whole story. Okay, so we're back. It's been about, 15, 20 minutes, and we have a 9-sentence story right now. So we alternated. Dana went first, then me, then Adam, then Allison. And so we went around that order twice, and then Dana went once again for a conclusion sentence. So Dana is going to start by telling everybody the sentence she came up with first, and then I'll follow that up by saying the 3 words I was given, and we'll just keep going around like that. So Dana, you can start us off.
All right, my first sentence was, my car likes to drive itself with a banana.
Okay, so I got the words car, drive, and banana. So I said, after sliding on the banana peel, my car spun out and fell off a nearby bridge.
Okay, mine is...
I've been playing too much Mario Kart.
surprisingly coherent. So
Okay.
I received car, fell, and ridge. So I said, recovering from the crash, he emerged like a butterfly from a cocoon, but less gracefully and heavily injured. Right? So,
Okay, so I received crash, butterfly, and injured, and I thought a butterfly was the character. So I said he ran to scoop up the winged beauty, but it bled its melty cube-colored blood through its fingers and onto the psychedelic panda that had run into it. This is where I said I messed this up. It bled its melty cube-colored blood through his fingers and onto the psychedelic panda that had run into it.
oh my goodness.
So I interpreted it as something had crashed into the butterfly
Wait.
and the butterfly was injured.
Yeah, but you never specifically stated it was a butterfly, so therefore you're describing the banana as multicolored and
That's
Still a
true.
banana.
That's true. No, I said winged beauty. I said he ran to scoop up the winged beauty.
Well, it could be a
'Cause I thought
winged
there was another
banana.
character.
We're
Wait,
still
who was
addressing a
he?
banana, right? So
Yeah, see, that's why I thought the butterfly was a character, so I thought it was previously addressed.
Oh, man. All right.
So, yeah, from that, I was given bleeding, butterfly, and panda.
Okay.
And I wrote, because the panda was bleeding heavily from the car accident that wasn't supposed to happen, the butterfly effect caused a wormhole to appear.
oh, that's
Oh,
good.
wow.
That's good.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So I got the words accident, wormhole, and bleeding. So I said, I tried to reverse the bleeding by going back through the wormhole, but instead I ended up on Jupiter with the blood still gushing from my ears.
Again, mine was surprisingly coherent. Jupiter, blood and ears were the words I got. So I said, after the ringing in his ears stopped and the bleeding slowed, he realized that Jupiter is a gas giant and there is no solid ground to stand on, at which point he began careening towards the center of the planet.
He has to realize
so this is
that for it to happen.
because
It's like in the cartoons where
It's like in the movies where they run off.
So this is interesting because I was given the words gas, solid, and center, and I had still with ears ringing from being at the epicenter of the blast. He fanned away the strange alien substance in the air and leaped into the panda's arms because I thought there was another guy. So
but now there's a panda in the
we're
center
talking
of
about the
Jupiter, so that's always fun.
So I was given blast, aliens, and panda, and as the last sentence I wrote, the aliens then flew away from Earth and the pandas took over.
Okay, so
that's pretty good.
was it flew away from Earth or to Earth?
Flew away from Earth.
Flew away from Earth. Interesting. Because if it was to Earth, then we would be addressing like the pandas as a leader of Jupiter.
Ooh.
But now, where do we stand? Yeah.
Okay, so that was really fun. Now we're just gonna go through the entire story. Without any words in between it or anything like that. We're just gonna read it as a cohesive thing, and see what it sounds like. So, my cars like to drive themselves with bananas. After sliding on the banana peel, my car spun out and fell off a nearby bridge. Recovering from the crash, he emerged like a butterfly from the cocoon, but less gracefully and heavily injured. He ran to scoop up the winged beauty, but it bled its melting cube-colored blood through his fingers and onto the psychedelic panda that had run into it. Because the panda was bleeding heavily from the car accident that wasn't supposed to happen, the butterfly effect caused a wormhole to appear. I tried to reverse the bleeding by going back through the wormhole, but instead I ended up on Jupiter, with the blood still gushing from my ears. After the ringing in his ears stopped and the bleeding slowed, he realized that Jupiter is a gas giant and there is no solid ground to stand on, at which point he began careening towards the center of the planet. Still with ears ringing from being at the epicenter of the blast, he fanned away from the strange alien substance in the air and leaped into the panda's arms. The aliens then flew away from Earth, and the pandas took over. The end.
Excellent.
All right. So that's going to wrap up our one-sentence story, and before we go, we're just going to do a quick cubing in the news article. For those of you who don't know, Cubing in the News is basically a segment where we find some of the worst cubing news articles that exist in the world, and we read them, for our own entertainment. So this one is a special one because it was sent to us by Andrew Tyberg. He commented it on the last episode. So this is incentive for you guys. If you find any Cubing in the News articles and we think they're good, we might use them, and you would get a shout-out. So, shout out to Andrew Tyberg.
Rather, we think they're bad.
What?
Rather, we
that's
think
true.
they're bad.
That's true. Yeah.
Yes, bad, not good. So the article we're going to be reading is called Farragut Teen Heads to National Cubing Championship. So there is a video involved with this article, but since it's a video and it's that's hard to do in a podcast, we're not going to be watching the video, but there's a link in the show notes, so if you want to watch the video, you can do that on your own time. We're just going to be reading the article that goes along with it. So, It's not a super long article or anything, so Dana, if you just want to read the entire thing, and, we'll pause in between to make fun of it and stuff.
So, for many, the Rubik's, spelled R-U-B-I-C-K''X, Rubik's Cube can be frustrating, but for Nick Gherkins, it was a way to pass time during a long road trip. His obsession with solving it faster has now led him to the National Cubing Championship.
I like how they capitalized National Cubing Championship, like that's the official name for it.
Hello,
I also
welcome
like
to
how
the
they said
National Cubing
Rubik's.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
Rubik's
Rubik's Cube.
CK.
Yeah, I've never seen it spelled like that before.
Yeah,
I usually see an
new.
X. Yeah. Nick has mastered the Rubik's Cube. He is able to solve one in about 20 seconds.
That should be a semicolon.
So fast.
It's a comma.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Jeff Gherkins, Nick's father, says his son is a type of kid who's always pursuing something. 1 year ago, it was card tricks. 1 year, it was juggling. A couple of years ago, well, I guess a year ago, it was the cube, said Jeff. Oh. So he's just jumping from thing to thing.
Yeah.
Nick learned how to solve the Rubik's
Yeah.
Cube by watching videos online, and it quickly became an obsession. When I first started, I averaged around 3 or 4 minutes, and I've been continually cutting down time by 10 seconds every day. Wow, so he should be Sub-Zero. He should be Sub-Zero by next week.
This kid,
Wow.
in 2 days, he's gonna be at 0.
Yeah, no, like
Wow.
straight up. So yeah, the guy who sent this to us said, like, 2 days after this article was written, he's averages 0.
Yeah. Wait, but this doesn't matter. 1 year ago, it was cubing, and he started 3 or 4 minutes. How many 10-second intervals are in 3 or 4 minutes?
Yeah. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like they must have really misinterpreted that. Like maybe 10 seconds every day when you first start. Like sure.
Yeah, that's what
but,
I was
Yeah,
gonna say.
yeah.
They probably asked like, so in the beginning, like, how'd you improve? He was like, well, 10 seconds like every day because I'd like practice
Yeah.
a whole bunch, and then
Yeah.
they just like, oh, 10 seconds every day.
Yeah, like this
Wow.
is definitely misquoted.
Oh my god.
Like just think about it logically. That's
not
impossible.
what he said.
Now everything clicks. His fingers flip and neurons fire so fast, he's made the U.S. national championship. Wow! His neurons fire so fast.
his neurons.
So fast.
I don't think that's something you can train.
Yeah.
And-
fast
also-
fast. You
and
could
also
call
he-
it, like maybe the speed of the Flash, you could say.
Yeah. And he's made the U.S. national championship.
Yeah, he's
You know, the
he's
competition
made,
that everyone can go to. He made it.
he made it.
Yeah, he made it.
Yeah. Oh my
Like the
God.
Flash, who runs very fast.
Yeah.
Nick's
qualified-
neurons fire just as quickly.
Oh my
Also,
god.
his fingers flip like flipping like
They
yeah.
just flip around their joint like.
yeah, just
He's just waving.
Also, was
fingers, like-
everything
like
clicks
1
an
second-
attempt on a pun?
1 second the fingernail is on the outside, but then they just flip
Wow.
inside out.
wow.
Was the everything clicks an attempt on a pun too? On like
I
cooking cubes?
I don't
or
know.
is
I
don't
that
even
just,
know.
Like, random?
I feel like the writers of this article aren't like smart enough to.
That's
come up
true.
with that.
He qualified for 3 events at the National Cubing Championship. Oh my god, that's not a sentence. The 2x2, the pyramid, and the 3x3. Hold up. In the first paragraph, he calls it the National Cubing Championship. In the one before this, he calls it the U.S. National Championship. And now it's the National Cubing
And
Championship.
then now
again.
it's the National Cubing Championship.
Yeah. And also,
Well-
I did not know that a puzzle
Also,
existed
that's
called
not
the pyramid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the pyramid.
The
Hey,
pyramid.
And
Let's give
like
the
it's
writers
not a
some slack.
sentence either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's like
it's-
not a sentence either.
Yeah, there should be some sort of punctuation.
There
in
should be
it.
a colon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Colon would be good.
Let's give the
Yeah.
writer some
Yeah.
slack. I mean, like, let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Like, while he was writing this, the name of the competition changed. While he
Okay,
was writing
but
it.
that doesn't excuse. He is a writer. That does not excuse his forgetting a colon.
That's
Yeah,
true,
and
that's
the
true, that's
semicolon. Like,
Yeah.
dude, writing is your job. Like,
Literally, yeah.
Writing is your job and you failed.
You had one job.
You had one job.
okay,
You
I
have
get if,
one
like,
job.
It's, like an essay in middle school or something. You don't have
Yeah.
the best grammar, but like this is your job to write this
Yeah.
article.
Oh my god.
Also,
That's-
I think it's interesting how when they do like 2x2, it's a capital X. So it's like 2x2.
Yeah, 2x2.
The pyramid and the 3x3.
And look, the pyramid. When they're talking
Yeah.
about pyramid, it's a proper noun. Like they're talking
Yeah.
about
Yes,
specific.
the
Yeah.
pyramid.
The
It is
The
the
pyramid.
one and only pyramid.
Right,
Yes.
right.
It can only be solved by one person at a time.
Yep.
Okay, while Wait 6 on your side was filming, comma, no comma there, he was able to solve the 3x3 in 15 seconds. Wow, that's only 5% improvement in a day.
Yeah, that's like, what gives?
Was it the day after?
Yeah, the day after he was averaging 5 seconds.
No, it was half a day after.
Oh yeah. Okay. So for me, quote, for me, it's nearly impossible. It takes a certain type of brain, comma, I think, comma, and I don't have it. Obviously he does, unquote. Jeff said. What the heck? Okay. Well, you've probably addressed this already, but there's no type of brain to solve a Rubik's Cube. It's just learning.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah.
nobody's
that's-
born to do any, and nobody born can do it. Like
Yeah.
nobody's like, oh, I can do this.
Right. I always equate it to like learning the alphabet. I feel like
Yeah.
it's very
Yeah.
similar.
You don't just, you're not born. You're like ABs. No, you
Yeah,
gotta learn it.
come out and you're like A B C D E F G.
Yeah. Because
Yeah, like-
it's something that we created, like humans created.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah, like it's not like a prodigy would just know the alphabet off the top of his
Yeah.
head, right? Like
Yeah.
you gotta
It's not
just learn it.
inherent.
And prodigies
Universe.
don't just know what they know from birth. They practice and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Like, they might be quicker at learning, but
Yeah.
it's not like they just know it.
Exactly.
Yeah. To actually learn it, to solve a cube, I think anyone can do it. If they just, like...
Anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they're slightly
You can
dedicated.
do the cube.
What? Oh, yeah.
I said,
You can do the
You
cube.
can do the cube.
Oh, man. All right.
And then the Nationals take place in Salt Lake City in late July.
Okay.
It's no longer a proper noun.
Now it's
Yeah,
just
like
the
just
Nationals.
The Nationals.
Now it's just
Yeah.
the Nationals.
There are 3 tenses here. Okay, they're referring to an event in the past, referencing an event in the future, and then use present tense, I think.
Wait, what are they referring to in the past?
They're saying he qualified and got a 15 at Nationals. And then they're saying Nationals takes place in Salt Lake City, an event that's in the future.
Wait,
and then
no,
they say
I
take.
think they're saying he's qualified for Nationals, not he qualified at Nationals. I think that part's fine, but no, they are all over the place.
Yeah.
But like they didn't say he
Yeah.
has been to Nationals yet. They just said he made it.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
You're right.
He made it.
Well,
They really harped on the qualifying for Nationals part a lot.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like,
it's not that hard.
Yeah.
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 I mean, no offense, man. Like, I mean, you know, but like that's not
It's
the
really-
impressive
yeah.
thing.
I mean, if he can qualify in the pyramid, I can't even do that.
yeah,
I don't know how to solve a pyramid.
me neither.
I don't.
Maybe you can ask the Egyptians for help on that one.
Hey,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to brag, but I qualified for pyramid this year, so
Wow.
just
Oh
saying.
Oh my goodness. How
You
could
must
we
have
ever
a certain
compete with
type
someone
of
who's
brain.
qualified for the pyramid?
Yeah, you must have a certain type of brain.
Yeah.
Wait,
no.
Do your
Is your brain
neurons
a
fire
pyramid?
quickly?
Do
Yeah,
your
my
fingers
neurons, they're
flip?
so fast. You've never seen
Wow.
neurons as fast as mine.
Wow.
I feel like
But
we
what about
probably
your finger flipping?
Yeah.
When I think fingers flipping, I think of like
Yeah.
flipping someone
I
off.
know that like
Finger flipping world record.
fast finger. Oh my god, flipping someone off. That
That was so great. Oh man.
Yeah.
He's so fast at flipping people off that he can solve a Rubik's Cube in like 15 seconds.
I think we've noted this already, but like, our like roasts of these articles are aimed at the writers, like keep
Yes.
that in mind. So like, we
yeah,
have
yeah.
no
Whoever's
issue
involved
with-
is not.
with
Yeah,
Nick.
this cuber just was pursued by an pursued by someone who does not know how to write.
Yeah, clearly.
So,
Like-
when you said pursuit, I just imagine this writer like running after this.
No,
Poor word choice, but you know what I mean.
He's being pursued.
Oh man.
That's good.
But yeah. So that's
Also,
that's
it's not that important, but they don't say that it's in Utah. I don't know if there is another Salt Lake City.
Oh,
but-
that's true. There could be so many Salt Lake City.
yeah. Or like
There are many Salt Lakes.
yeah.
Maybe they're just referring to salt lakes in general, like lakes with salt.
It takes place.
And cities that have lakes with salt.
Yeah.
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 All
In
of
every
them.
location with a salt lake.
Yeah.
There will be a nationals.
In late July.
Yeah. Or there will be a national cubing championship.
Right. Or a U.S. national champion.
Yeah, or just the nationals. All the
Yep,
nationals.
They say the nationals take place.
How many
too.
nationals did you win
Yeah.
this weekend?
Like there's more than one, right? Like
Yeah,
it's,
all the nationals.
like,
Can you go to all the nationals?
yeah, it's nationals takes place, not nationals take place. There's only one.
Oh shoot! I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
The nationals take.
Oh man.
How many nationals did you win this weekend? Because I won all 3.
I only qualified in pyramid.
Man.
I only went to the one with pyramid. I didn't get to do 3x3.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if every
Oh,
single
darn.
nationals was just one event?
Yeah, one of
Yeah, what? There are 20.
What?
Just have like 20 nationals around. the
5x5
country.
blindfolded U.S. national championship.
Yeah.
Taking place in Bob Burton's backyard.
There's like 17 rounds of each event too.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun though, like a nationals with like only 3x3, so they have like 10 rounds.
Oh my god.
Well, according to the regs,
Right.
you can't do that.
Yeah, I feel like they'd have to make an
Yeah.
exception for that.
What if you just had like 2 comps back to back that were unassociated with each other, but the top 100 people from the 4th round of the first comp are the competitors for the second comp?
Loopholes.
Yeah.
Oh.
But then that would be like wouldn't that interfere with like the distance or time limit?
Oh, true. No, just have them drive 100 kilometers
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
compete somewhere else.
Like
We'll fly into
right
the next
outside the
comp.
100 kilometers. Yeah.
So first thing in the morning, 3x3 round 5.
Yeah.
I would love that. That'd be so cool.
Yo, to have 10 rounds of 3x3, they should just start with like, they should end with 2 people just going head to head. That's the
Yeah.
final. And then you just do, what, 1,048 people or something. And just split it in half every time until you just
Yeah.
get 2 people.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess that's gonna wrap up our cubing in the news article for this episode. That was a pretty solid one. Hopefully, I qualify for pyramid next year. I think
Me
they're
too.
really gonna
Favorite.
Hopefully your neurons are firing.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to fire my neurons really fast
I need
to
to flip
qualify.
my fingers faster.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, especially for 2x2. You know, like that's.
Yeah.
But
And I'm
yeah,
gonna
so
go to all the nationals this year. All
yeah,
of
all of them, all 18.
them. Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess that's basically gonna wrap up our episode. So big thank you to Dana Yee for joining us. This was really fun.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks for coming on. But before we leave, it's time to announce our next guest. So if I could get a drum roll. And our next guest is Delegate Sam Schultz. So we've actually had Sam on the podcast once before, pretty recently, but we're going to have him on again because the last episode went so well. Make sure to leave a lot of questions for him and for the rest of us for the next episode. So yeah, we're looking forward to that. That should be really fun. So that's about it for this one. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can leave them down below, and that would be much appreciated. Like, share this video, and follow us on social media in order to be awesome, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for listening. Hey, I did it!
Yay, we have
Boom.
to cut Ava's K-bye from somewhere.
Oh yeah, we're gonna need that. Yeah, but
Okay,
that
bye.
was good.
Oh my god. K-bye.
All right.
That's so weird.